welcome back. This is the bang for your buck exercise number 4, Renegade rows. And the reason we're doing these is because you can really kill 2 birds with 1 stone with this exercise, getting a push and a pull each time you do the movement. We're gonna break it down, analyze all the different parts of the movement, and then we'll show you a couple of different variations to flare it up a little bit, add a little something extra so you can get even more bang for your buck out of this exercise. So exercise number 4, Renegade rows. All right, so this exercise is typically done with 2 different implements. If you've got kettlebells, that's what we're gonna use for the sake of this video today. Dumbbells also work great. It's not a necessity to need 2, but if you only have 1, I'll show you a little way that you can do it just with 1 of the implements that you have. We're gonna go with kettlebells today. First point of performance when you're setting up for Renegade row is gonna be setting up in the top position, and you wanna make sure that our shoulders are stacked over our wrists. Getting here, I've got a good stable trunk. I'm squeezing my butt, squeezing my trunk and my core, and my shoulders are stacked right over top of my wrists. That's number 1. Number 2 is gonna be the width and the stance of your feet. You want to make sure that you have a stable base, because when you go to pull the kettlebell or the dumbbell off the ground, it's going to challenge your stability and your balance. So you wanna make sure you have a good, strong, stable foundation in your feet. So maybe it's a little wider at the start if you're not very balanced. Maybe you can go a little bit narrower. It's gonna be up to you to decide where you are in your ability level and make sure you're set up in the right way. The next thing that we're gonna break down, I'm gonna do a push-up. Just like you would imagine doing a regular push-up on the ground, right to there. The next portion of that is where we get the row. So, push-up, squeeze, row. Push-up, squeeze, row. When I'm rowing, we want to make sure that we're rowing the dumbbell or the kettlebell back into our hip rather than straight up out to the side. It's going to help your shoulder feel better after doing a lot of these rows. It's going to actually work the part in your lat that is responsible for the rowing motion rather than bringing it straight out up to here. And now all we're working is the shoulder girdle, all the muscles attached up high in your shoulder like your trap. We want to pull more in with our lat. Really focus on pulling back. You almost want to hit right into your hip. So that's the point of performance number 3. Now, if you only have 1 of the implements, you only have 1 kettlebell, you've only got 1 dumbbell, there are still ways you'll just be offset with it. If you have a kettlebell, your hand that's on the kettlebell is going to be a lot higher than if you had a dumbbell. So keep in mind your range of motion is going to be shorter here than if you had a dumbbell. But what you're going to do, same exact thing, you're just going to be set up on an offset. So it's actually going to be a little more challenging, and you might get a little bit extra out of this movement anyways. But I'm going to do the same thing. Notice I didn't have a full range of motion there, but if I had a dumbbell and my hand was down here as opposed to up here, you can see the difference in the amount of range of motion that I would have. There are still ways to get this done with just a single kettlebell or a single dumbbell. You just gotta make it work, get creative. All right, the last thing we're gonna go over is just a little extra flair that you can add to the end of this movement to give you a little bit more something to do, give you a little bit of conditioning aspect to it. Feel free to kind of add different things to the end of this movement to make it your own as well, especially if you want to try and challenge yourself conditioning wise. There are tons of extra things. We're just going to go over my favorite today and just kind of stack it on the end of what we've already done with the Renegade row. So the first thing we're going to do is go over the movement itself, and it's going to be kick through to one side and then a kick through to the other side when we do the other Renegade row. So what that's going to look like from here is I'm going to do push-up, Renegade row, and then I'm going to kick through the other side. So I'm going to keep the row hand that I just had, which is my right. I'm going to keep that on the kettlebell, and I'm going to kick through. Row, push up, row, kick through. That's just a little something extra I like to throw on the end when I'm working on conditioning pieces with this movement. Like I said, feel free to add another movement or stack it on the end and kind of create almost a little bit of a flow based out of the Renegade row. All right, thanks for checking out the video today. That was the Renegade row, number 4 on our list of top 5 bang for your buck exercises with minimal equipment. We've got one more next week. Check it out, stay tuned.